I'm Mick Garris, and this is Trailers from Hell. And this trailer isn't exactly from hell. In fact, it's for one of the freshest and funniest movies that you've never seen. A historical British rock and roll comedy filled with an amazing soundtrack of 60s English rock and an unbelievably starry cast. It was called The Boat That Rocked in its British homeland, but was disastrously cut down by a half hour and retitled Pirate Radio when it was released by Universal in the States in 2009, and it didn't make a ripple. Back in the mid-60s in England, the only place you could hear pop music on the radio was on the state-controlled BBC, and they offered barely 45 minutes of rock music a day. But there were music-loving pioneers who figured out a way around these Neanderthal regulations. They took their DJs, their LPs, and all their broadcasting equipment out to sea and created true pirate radio, floating radio stations beyond the control of the Crown. The government hated it and did everything they could to eventually shut them down. But in their heyday, pirate stations, starting with Radio Caroline in 1964, played rock around the clock to millions of happy listeners and to the great disdain and frustration of the UK government. The Boat That Rocked, and by all means you should watch the British version, is joyous and exciting and exhilarating with wall-to-wall music by the Rolling Stones, the Turtles, the Hollies, Dusty Springfield, and dozens of others. Writer-director Richard Curtis's love affair with pop music is readily evident in the needle drops to his other movies, including Four Weddings and a Funeral, Notting Hill, Love Actually, and the criminally underseen Yesterday. But this one dives in head first and rounds up an internationally wonderful cast of characters, creating probably the most productive period for British pop music. The pirate ship is claustrophobic, but it truly rocks, and it is filled with remarkable performances. The DJs include Philip Seymour Hoffman, Chris O'Dowd from Get Shorty, Nick Frost from Shaun of the Dead, Rhys Darby from Flight of the Conchords, among others, with the great Bill Nighy at the helm. I first discovered Nighy in another brilliant British rock comedy that few Americans have seen called Still Crazy, and he was most recently nominated for an Oscar in Living. And Kenneth Branagh is great as the evil government minister whose greatest purpose in life is to shut down pirate radio once and for all. The music is a joy, and its raucous embrace of the music we grew up on is infectious, and I think it's one of the great rock movies of all time.